Everybody in the dirty, dirty down body, about down south, dirty, dirty down bottom in the south already. We are in the building, family, and thank y'all for tuning in to another edition of the Red Boy Radio Show. Today's family, I'm not necessarily flying solo. Today, I got a special guest in the building. If you listen to the last episode, we talked about her brand new book that's out. She dropped a whole lot of nuggets, left some people thinking like, oh my God, I got to change some things in my life. I got to do better. Whatever she did it to them. And for all y'all who tuned into the last episode and you left your comments on social media, I sure appreciate it. My guest, she sure definitely appreciates it as well. But this particular episode, family, we are definitely going to get into a conversation that I think we must have at this point. It's easy to live our lives, fam, and go throughout the day and only take care of ourselves. But a lot of times, sometimes we got to reach back, open up and have a conversation, because I don't want anyone that I know, that I follow, sitting in the dark by themselves, not having anyone to talk to. So there's some things that's going on in our circle or in our world that we need to open up and talk about. And then we're going to talk about a little bit of that today in the red zone topic, if you will. I'm not going to give it to you just yet, but y'all know how I do it if you follow me. It's going to be a play on words, fam, and we'll get to it. But before we get to it, let me reintroduce you to author, celebrity hairstylist. I can go on and on. There's nothing she can't do. Okay. But once again, family, y'all welcome my special guest on this episode, Miss CC the Great.
Yay. Thanks for letting me stay.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, thank you for staying. Thank you for staying. And you're looking good. You got the pink on, got the hat, you're just rolling. Oh, man. Yeah. Did you enjoy the last episode?
I did. It was really good. And thank you to everybody who tuned in and left comments. Like, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it was definitely very interactive. And again, fam, if you listen to this episode and you hadn't heard episode 5 and you listen to this episode, which is episode 6, you need to go back and listen to it.
Yeah.
You'll definitely get some information out of that. And we had a wonderful time. And not saying we won't have it on this one, but I know this show is going to be a little bit deeper than the other one. So I want to make sure y'all do go back, though, get those nuggets, get the piece of motivation that CC dropped. Like I said in the previous show, family, we go through a lot this past couple weeks since I've been back hadn't been in the studio, but I am back today. And I want to open up and again have a deeper conversation with my people, with you all. I want to say before we even get to that conversation as well, I want to let y'all know that as I speak and as I talk about certain things, it feels like we as a people always got to put a disclaimer out there. So I'll put that disclaimer out there. If I'm speaking, know that I am not talking to anyone indirectly or trying to be disrespectful to anyone. It's just my thoughts, my ideas, my opinions on a lot of things. And if I say something about a particular race or ethnicity, this is not geared towards everyone. It is geared to some. And those some know exactly who they are. If you are offended by it, that's on you. Meaning that might something be more internal, like we talked in the last episode. That might be something more that you have to deal with. But please know, if you around me, if you've been around me, been within my space, I try to do everything, get along with everybody. So I just put it at that. I'll leave it at that, fam. I will definitely leave it at that. So what we do real quick, fam, let's go ahead and get into some music real quick. And then we come back, we'll get into our topic of the day. And if you've already on my Facebook feed or you're watching me live on YouTube, today's topic is going to be friends with benefits. Question mark. They got me? Friends with benefits? Question mark. All right, y'all keep it locked right here. Here's some Nas. If I Rule the World. This is the Redboi Radio Show. Let's go.
Hey, what's up? This is Anthony Hamilton, and you're listening to the Redboi Radio.
Okay.
Content and conversations for the culture. Mixed with classics. On TRBRS.
Who you know do it better.
All right, welcome back, fam. This is Content and Conversations for the Culture, mixed with classics, which is the Redboi Radio Show. I am your host, Redboi, and in the building, I got a special guest with me, and she goes by the name of CC the Great. You feeling all right, Miss Great? Your greatness. Thank you for blessing us with that
My pleasure.
greatness. All right. So, fam, what we're going to do right now, we're going to go ahead and get into this topic of the day for this particular episode, and it has been labeled, titled, however you want to call it, Friends with Benefits. Now, I know automatically when you hear that particular topic, friends with benefits, we already know where our mind is supposed to go. We've heard about it. Some of us got some right now. So y'all probably thinking, we about to get juicy up in this thing, right? Yeah, maybe. Depends on how you define that word, juicy. All right. So let me try to navigate this thing so you have a better understanding, family, of where I want to go with this when I'm talking about friends with benefits. We kind of mentioned at the beginning of the show and then in the last show that as far as we're concerned in the Black community, we are going through a lot. We have been seeing a lot. And what we see has been going on for many, many years. Our ancestors had to deal with it. It's just on video right now, and it's on social media. So now as we go through this, I know for myself, and I know for CCU as well and others out there, we've grown enough to handle it. But we often wonder how our kids are handling it.
Absolutely.
So now we are charged with making sure our kids are able to hopefully grow up in a better place and space than what we are dealing with right now. I remember coming up and looking backwards as I was a teenager coming this way, I thought to myself how or what type of person I would be if, in fact, I was living at the same time as my grandmothers and grandparents, what they had to deal with. You know, they grew up in a time, and some of my folks grew up on plantations. You know, that I'm very much aware of. And I always wondered, well, how did this make you feel? How did this, I remember hearing stories from my uncle when we were talking. He says that he remembers at a time going to school, and when they went to school, even though they were going to a all black school, even then the teachers would separate them from light and dark.
Oh, wow.
You know, that conditions you a certain way,
Colorism.
So even with that, but they also had to watch the many killings, if you will, of many faith leaders. You know, we can talk about Malcolm X, we can talk about Medgar Evers, we could talk about Martin Luther King. They lived through a lot of that.
Right.
And so now as we come into this particular space and time, it's almost like history repeating himself.
Absolutely.
To them, you know?
Yeah.
And as we do this, it's kind of bothering me so because I know that now, again, my son, Ray J, has to actually be a part of this.
Right.
He's going to be very much aware of it, which is, it's a bad thing for him. And at the same time, I won't really call it a blessing and a curse type because I know I'm glad that I'm equipped with some of the information to give to him so that he's ready.
Right.
Because when we were coming up, we conditioned a completely different way.
Yeah.
You know? So as we move forward and what I want to try to paint a picture for you all, those who are actually listening in live and can have an understanding, knowing that when I'm talking about friends with benefits, I'm talking about your own personal friends. Okay, whatever color they may be. However, we don't mean to, as I spoke earlier, separate, but there is somewhat of a separation.
Yeah.
And let me get into that. As we just dealt with this past week, and what we are going to be dealing with this following week, we know that right now, at this particular time, we have two trials. Well, one is just over yesterday. We know that was a trial of Kyle Rittenhouse, which happened to be a young teenage boy who was in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He decided to be hero, if you will. Let them tell it.
Right.
Go to Kenosha, Wisconsin with a loaded AR-15 and said he was going to so-called protect the business. We all know the story, so I'm not going to go into it, but we know he got there. Things happened, got into some altercations, and he killed 2 people and injured another, and he was completely acquitted on all charges. The judge threw out the weapons charge, which we know if it was one of us, let's be real, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
If we went with that weapons charge, it'd be over with. They also threw out the misdemeanor charge of him being late or out past curfew. So that was gone. So he was going to get absolutely nothing. He took all of that away. And I say that because we know if it was one of us, let's be real,
Be different.
it'd be a different story. And that's facts. This is not me making up something. This is not me trying to incite or inject racism into something that's already injected too. It's there. Let's just be honest about it and talk about it. So that's one piece of the puzzle is him. We're going to move forward to this upcoming week where we actually have a trial for the McMichaels and a gentleman by the name of Mr. Bryan who shot and killed Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia, saying it was a black man running through their neighborhood. They thought he was committing crimes, which he wasn't that particular day. I don't know what he did prior to. But he didn't do that day. They chased him down, tried to get him to speak to him, claimed that they were trying to do a citizen's arrest, which they never mentioned. And now they're on trial right now for murder. I've been watching the trial. I watched the prosecution. She's basically putting on a clinic. She really is. But we don't know how that outcome is going to be. We can only hope for the best, and justice will be served.
Right.
So right now, as I look and I'm navigating through these two things, it brings me back to a whole lot of other things that we've seen since I've been living or paying attention to this world as it moves forward. And so that I don't lose you all, I want you to understand what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about friends with benefits, what I mean by that is we can look at the story, these two stories in particular, and then we'll try to backtrack on some others. But if you look at this story and you look at the way that Rittenhouse was treated the night of, the night he was there, of course, he was already there past curfew. He was already carrying an AR-15 when he first saw the police. Rather than say, hey, young boy or young dude, whatever you want to call him, you need to go home. They didn't. They gave him water. And they said, thank you for being here.
Whoa.
After curfew, with a loaded AR-15. So they gave him basically, in a sense, the green light to say, whatever happened, happened. That was the first door open for him to go and end up being what happened. Now, again, legally, he's not wrong for what he did. However, what's irony in all that is the fact that they let him, after curfew with the weapon, go out there and things happen.
Right.
And they gave him water and they told him, thank you for being here. So that was the opening door, right?
Right.
And in essence, in that, the whole march or the whole protest was for that reason. Meaning we wanted social justice to be equal across the board. Because let's just be honest, like I said earlier, if there had been one of our young kings, they wouldn't have got water for sure. No. Okay. And they wouldn't been able to stand out past curfew. Right? But he did that. So what that does to me and what that reminds me of, and same, real quick with the other trial, when they shot and killed Ahmaud Arbery, it took them 2 months to even arrest him. But also remember, I always try to tell people, they didn't arrest them because of the evidence. They arrest them because we saw the video.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even so then, the police that were involved in that, they saw them for who they were, and they was like, okay, go ahead and go home. We'll do our investigation, we'll find out what happened, but go home. I'm telling y'all both of those stories so that you can realize that as this world turns, and again, I'm not talking about this, I'm not painting a broad brush, but let's keep it real. Rittenhouse and these other 3 gentlemen, automatically, because of the color of their skin tone, they were given the benefit. So as we go through this conversation, I want y'all to think about what I'm speaking of when I'm talking about your friends with benefits. I have friends who do have the benefit, and I have some that don't.
Right.
And I often wonder, for those that do have the benefit, do you see? Do you open your eyes? You recognize that I don't? And if you recognize that and you know that I don't, if you're not standing the gap with me to assist me in receiving the same benefits you receive, then are we really friends?
Right.
Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
So as we go through and try to have this conversation, it's like this. I look back on Tamir Rice, 12-year-old boy, right? In a playground with a toy gun.
Ooh.
They pulled up, took him 2 seconds or whatever it was, and they shot and killed him. Tamir Rice never got the benefit.
Right.
Eric Gardner never got the benefit. Trayvon Martin never got the benefit. But they gave the benefit to Zimmerman, who was told, don't chase him.
Right.
at all.
Anyway.
So you engaged in it, but then you were able to claim self-defense even though you instigated.
Right.
They gave you that benefit. Right? So many more that we could talk about, and we'll probably talk about more. But I want to get into that conversation and ask you now as far as what you've seen and what have you, how do you see you navigating this type of conversation with your daughter?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've talked about, I know some things as they grow, they're going to see some things, what have you, and we've talked about having those conversations. How do you feel that you will navigate this conversation with her?
Mine's is tough because I believe differently from most people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and because I'm about to share something that I don't even share with people really anymore.
Okay.
Even from the aspect of faith, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I am not a Christian.
Okay.
But I do believe that the Black people are the people of the Bible.
Okay. Now, when you say that, so
Sure.
let's clarify. When you say you're not a Christian, that means what to you?
That means that I follow what's best for me.
Okay.
If I read it in the Bible and it works,
Mm-hmm.
then it's like, okay, let's do it. But there's some things in there that I disagree with.
Okay.
That's a whole nother story. And
Mm-hmm.
I just became this way maybe over the past year, but it's just been me reading stuff. But there are some things in there where I believe that the Bible is a history book of my ancestors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I say that because in Deuteronomy, it lists all of these blessings and curses that are in there.
Yeah.
And literally you can go in there and mark your name or a family member's name. It says even in that chapter, everybody always want to quote what happens before that. We're blessed in the city, blessed in the field, blessed when we come and when we go.
Yeah.
But if you drop down to like paragraph 60, then he talks about all of the curses.
Yeah.
So one of them, he said that you'll be afraid to walk in the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, when it's night, you'll wish it were day.
Mm.
Then he talks about how the men of this nation or these ethnicity of people will not be around.
Mm-hmm.
Curse is the one who hangs from a tree. Lynchings, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And without me going even into the entire detail of that, Harley is aware
Mm-hmm.
that she is not a Black woman from America. She is a Hebrew Israelite woman
Mm-hmm.
who was sold, a family was sold into slavery, and here we are.
Okay.
Now, it's very hard because I'm still opening up my eyes and learning and read a lot of other things. If I believe in the God of Israel, who is the God of the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
then the reason why these things are happening to us is because we disobeyed him. And he's angry with us. It's like, how long? One of the angels asked him, how long is this punishment going to last? Because we actually were in covenant with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got Shem, Ham, Japheth. And I know I'm going through like this whole thing.
Yeah.
We got Shem, Ham, we got Japheth. Most people believe that African Americans, so to speak, or Black people are the lineage of Ham and we're cursed. We're not. If you read your Bible, do your research, follow the lineage. African, like the real Africans who live in Africa, they are the descendants of Ham. We are the descendants of Shem. And the white people, so to speak, are the descendants of Japheth.
Mm-hmm.
When your brother do something, you're going to look out for your brother.
Mm-hmm.
And so God, in the scriptures, it says, the fear of God is the beginning of all wisdom. If you don't fear God, and people say, oh, that means reverence him, respect him. If you don't fear God, you don't fear nobody. And what happens is, it is not fair at all. At all, because we do not get the benefit that they give their other friends and family members. I have to teach my daughter at school, Harley, if something happens, try your best not to get in a fight. Somebody hit you, you hit them back. Oh, did you see that police come? You got to get up, stand up, and put your hands up. Because they're not going to try to break you up or try to see that you're a little girl. Most likely they're going to see that you're a young Black girl with dreadlocks. And they're going to automatically put on you that you have an attitude or whatever. They're not going to give you the benefit of a doubt. The beautiful thing about this is, as far as Harley is concerned, is that she is aware of her lineage, that we're just visitors here and we're not privy to what they're privy to. And though it's not fair, I gotta walk with a certain, even, what's the guy name who was in his own apartment And the cop,
both of them, John.
Yeah. She just went in there and shot and killed the man. And I think they only charge her to make an example or to give us, a pass. It's like, you got to take the hit, which still isn't enough. It's like, no matter what you do, this man is in his house minding his own business, and they wanted to bring up, he was smoking weed or what. It don't matter.
Yeah, none of that does.
The benefit is not given because this nation is already upset with you. So you have to walk above correction. And though sometimes you want to react, behave, or respond because you should be able to, they should understand that you're a little girl. They won't. Like, that was that girl who, she got into a fight. She called the police. There's 2 older women who were jumping her.
Okay, I know. I can't remember her name right now. But I know who.
But even with that, they have a certain level of grace where they'll break up their fights. I saw a video where the police pulled over a white man, and he refused to get out the car, refused to open up the door and anything. And at the end of it, he ended up shooting both police officers and driving off.
And you know why?
Because he got benefit.
He got the benefit.
And it sucks.
It does. And the reason why I'm asking that question and how you would have that a conversation with your daughter is because that's the thing that I'm struggling with right now. And what I mean by that is there's every bit of me wants my son to be in a space of diversity.
Right.
There's every bit of me that wants my son to learn different cultures and learn and be around those folks every day. I did it. I grew up diverse. It wasn't until, of course, I got older that those same folks that I used to hang with only kept me in place as long as I stayed in line.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the moment the conversation started happening about, we got this big old divide over Colin Kaepernick, the flag, all these things are inanimate objects, right?
Right.
We are different now. We're looked at different. They are able to look at that video or whatever video that we've seen, and they're able to say, hold on, wait for all the evidence. Right?
Right.
Because somehow they can't see that it's right there in their face.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? They can't see that when it's opposite of. But if it's the other direction, like we've seen this past week, including with the judge, benefit after benefit, we should be worried because he's young. He's a young boy. He's a young white boy. And guess what gets to me? And again, I'm not hating him because of his skin. I refuse to hate people because of their skin color. I refuse.
Right.
I may hate your attitude and how you walk along in this world looking at me for less than because I wasn't, if in your eyes, in your Christianity, that I wasn't blessed to be the same shade as you.
Right.
Because in your mind, you look at me completely different.
You're better.
And I'm glad you said that about the Christianity piece. It's kind of weird. We talked about earlier how timing.
Yeah.
Because I've been the same way over the past year.
Yeah.
That I am really deleting, and this is not to me going against someone, but I'm deleting my religion.
Yeah.
Religion does not play a part with me.
Absolutely.
I have a personal relationship.
Right.
I ain't perfect.
Absolutely.
We talk like I'm talking to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I know he understands he has to because he created me to be this way. So, and it's okay because a lot of us, when we get in that space, we're afraid to what they call rock the boat a little bit and ask those questions because like you said, there's some things that you have to peel back the end and say, well, if this was this, well, why this?
Right.
If this is this, and then why this? There's so many things we're told not to do and not to speak to based on what someone else said.
And didn't read for ourselves and come into the knowledge of ourselves. Yeah. And I look at that too, because it's a lot. And especially like you said, there are certain things that your child witnesses and hears and things that go on, and then you live in fear, because like you said, you be afraid in the daytime. My husband has locks that go down to his waist, and he's a veteran. He's a mailman. He's been married to me for 14 years this March.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
March what?
What's 22nd?
Okay, so y'all, we're March 17th. See, we got too much in common.
Right?
Okay, go.
I love it. But it's like I'm worried all the time. When he's out even delivering mail, he delivered mail in one of the worst neighborhoods in Fort Worth. And I worry all the time for him. I'm constantly like, Lord, just protect him because I know that he's a good man, but you're intimidated by the fact that he is a different skin tone or because of his hair when you don't know his character or his nature.
Right.
And so it's scary for our sons and our daughters to grow up in this because they don't. It's a blessing if you do meet someone else of the opposite color, tone, whatever, and you're in a sticky situation where they do give you that benefit of a doubt. They show love and grace. Because like you said, I don't believe that everyone is the same or think that way. I sound like them. I have white friends, but I do. Hispanic, everything.
Yeah.
But what I do hate too is that we do have to put this disclaimer out there and say, oh, well, I still love all people, but my people. What is wrong with me standing up and saying it's not okay for this to happen to our people? We are human.
Right.
I'm not monkey. I have to pay taxes.
Yeah.
And everything else just like you. And they get offended when we say, like with Colin Kaepernick kneeling. What is the problem with that? You're mad because he doesn't respect the flag that wasn't even built on the principle of our people. This song wasn't written with our people in mind.
They were dancing on our graves in the song.
Right. And so it's like, we're not even protesting that. He's doing this so that you can have more respect for our people. We already, most of us don't even know who we are. We're just cool with the fact that we're a color and named after a nation. Yeah. Which is, I'm black, or I did, what is that? The lineage track and stuff. I'm this and I'm that. It's like
Ancestry.com.
Yeah, and they talked about that too with Paula Patton saying that she doesn't want to be called mixed.
I was listening to that show on live. She was on with I can't remember his name. His last name Kane. But I was listening to the live. I was at lunch, and she said, and I knew where she was coming from with it. All she was saying was that's her mom taught her. Right. When they see you, that's what they're going to see.
Absolutely.
So walk in it and be proud of it. And there's nothing wrong with that.
At all.
Whatsoever. And to go back to real quick about the Kaepernick thing, again, when we talked about the flag and where he kneeled, and again, I'm a veteran myself.
Right.
I retired from the military.
Right.
20 years service, right? However, there was nothing in me that will love a piece of material more than I love
a human.
People.
Right.
Right? I will value your life more than something that can't even speak to me.
Right.
I can't disrespect something that can't respond.
Right.
But yet they took that, and again, they have the benefit to do so.
Right.
They have the benefit to speak against that. Right?
Right.
And it's their right.
It is.
But you got to square. If it's your right, you have the benefit to speak against him for doing something. You have to remember this nation did First Amendment. It doesn't benefit you, but don't benefit me.
Right.
And if I'm able to take that knee quietly, didn't hurt nobody, didn't kill nobody, why are you so upset
why am
with
I
me?
Being punished?
But then you won't respond to what happened on January 6th in the same light.
Which was crazy.
And a bigger benefit.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I mean, they were able to go home, cool off and everything before they were even slapped on the wrist.
None.
Because remember, they killed that one lady who was coming in and backing out.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like, it was because she was a black woman. And like you said, they just see color before they see the fact that we're all human.
Right.
And if you are a Christian, then all of us, if you've done your Bible lineage, they came from Noah. So technically, we're brothers and sisters, all of us anyway.
We're technically supposed to be.
Technically.
Yeah.
But it's this colorism and this classism, and even, like I keep going back to religion, if you don't believe what I believe, if you don't look like what I look like, if you don't think the way that I think you're supposed to think, then you're a threat to me. But we claim to be the country that allows people to be whoever they want to be. Yeah. And it's only beneficial for some people.
Again, and that's why this topic is in place.
Yeah.
And that's why I speak of, if you're just now tuning in, we're speaking on topic of friends with benefits. To give you a real roundabout of what this is, we're speaking of the people that we live amongst, our friends, and who are. There are some friends. I know, and again, I say that, and that they are friends of mine. Do I know that has the benefit of being whoever they want to be? They walk how they want to walk. They dress how they want to dress, and no one will ever question them. Right. Whatsoever. However, on my end, my other friends on the left-hand side, I would say, I'm sorry, back in the day, we say, give me 5 on the right hand side.
Right.
so all my friends on the right hand side, they don't have that same benefit as my folks on the other. And that's why I think it wants to be open conversation, because I don't even know, and no one can ever tell me, how do we get to where we all are beneficial, or we all get that same benefit, and will it ever happen?
Yeah.
I have to say, honestly, if I'm of a bed man, probably not.
Right.
Probably not, because I think this world keeps turning. In my eyes, the world keeps turning based on our suffering.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
They benefit from our suffering.
Benefit. There we go again.
Yeah. It says that we populate the prisons. I think it's in Isaiah. And when you look at like lineage, and when you read correctly, and we can Google now who populates the prison. And what they get paid $300 a day for each inmate. It could go up. It could have gone up by now.
Yeah.
But that's why they'll like lay down the law on you, the hammer, because they get paid off of that. And even when I look at just the way that we have allowed the way that other nationalities think of us to inflict our own self-hatred, or to not even give ourselves the benefit of a doubt. It is insane. And when you said, will it ever stop? I don't think so. I think that it'll die down for a little bit. And then again, history will repeat itself, because I did not ever believe that I would see anything like this. That I would see marches and protests in my day and age. And so it's just, it's weird.
And especially not so far apart, because if we look at it, I'm born in the 70s. That was still going on early 70s, 60s. And I'm thinking, okay, we had moved away from that. So it's not. And so when people say, oh, it's so long ago, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's within my lifetime.
Right.
It's within my lifetime. It's within my grandmother's life. My grandmother's 93.
Yeah.
It's within her lifetime. So you can't tell me it was
And then
only
now
so
it's
long
in
ago.
your son's lifetime.
Exactly. He's going to be dealing with the same thing. So
Right.
when do we? So you can't tell me, oh, forget this, forget that.
Right.
I've got to stick with it, because I have to teach
And
him
then,
that
like
history.
you said, if we're to forget it, I forget which state that is, where they are taking out like the history and of like slavery and all of that.
Many states are trying to.
And my other thing about it is, first of all, we were different things before we came here. We became here slaves. I mean, we came here and became slaves.
Yes.
However, then just don't teach history then.
Yeah.
Period. That's my solution to it. Don't teach us about what the white people did, the Hispanics, whomever, because it's not fair to have the benefit and to learn in total completion. To me, if you're going to take it out, then history just should not exist. You have to teach your child their history on your own at home. Or it need to be an elective period.
I get that. But then you have, which I guess there's no winning formula to it, because even now what you have, some states still do the proper education. Now, and I say proper loosely, because it's not always proper. But some will still go home and get that other piece to it. Like me, I do it. I tell my son now, you go to that class, you learn what you need to learn. But when you come home, I want to know what it is you learned about, and I want to know what they told you. Case in point. And this is not to knock the ISD or anything.
Right.
Because I did the same thing. Real quick, I'm from Oklahoma.
Okay.
I spent majority of my, born and raised in Oklahoma. And then, of course, military took me around and got me here. It was until 2012, a year before I was to retire. I'm talking to a friend of mine from South Carolina, just chit-chatting, right? Talking about whatever. And he finally asked me, where you from again? I said, Oklahoma. Oh, you from Black Wall Street. I chuckled. Black Wall Street, what does that mean? I'm thinking it's a joke.
Right.
He said, ain't that where Black Wall Street is? I said, dude, what are you talking about? We ain't got no Black Wall Street. And he continued to tell me what it was. And all I could do was feel embarrassed.
Right.
Because I grew up in the state where it was.
And didn't even
But they didn't tell me that portion. But I can tell you about all the Indians nations. I can tell you about all the cowboys that came through there. I can tell you about all these other people that basically, so quote unquote, built the state, right? Left my side out of it, and that's what I'm saying. So now, when it comes to the education system, it's weird to me that they don't want to teach these things, but it's much as important, because you're making me feel, or my child feel, just as important as your child.
Right.
You're knowing where we come from, how we came to be. That's very, very important. When you want to take that away, then we're left behind, and it's going to continue to feed
Right.
your children to see us as less than.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to fix.
Right.
That's what we've been marching for this whole time.
Right.
And like I tell my wife, I think the biggest thing with that is, and again, not a broad brush, but a lot of them don't like or they are jealous of kind of how we talked in a previous episode about the woman who was upset with you for sharing.
Right.
Some people just don't like the fact that you are resilient.
Right.
And people are that because technically, had it their way, me and you wouldn't be sitting across the table from each other right
At
now
all.
having a conversation.
At all.
And some people still sit in that space of not wanting us to be resilient and continue to grow.
Yeah, and that's
crazy.
That's so true. Like you said about the story of Black Wall Street,
Yeah.
it makes me think about it's Regina King is in the TV show. I can't even think of the name of it. It's like a superhero comic type thing.
Watchmen.
Yes, The Watchmen. Thank you.
Yeah.
And they started off showing, what happened with Black Wall Street. And it's so good. And then I learned from TikTok that Central Park used to be a thriving area for Black people. And they went in and pretty much kind of did the same thing. And it's like, what is it in you that hates us so bad to where it offends you for us to even rise a little bit?
Yeah.
Because see, there's something wrong with you, and you've projected onto us our entire lives. And even when we take a moment to overcome a moment, and even like be on this show and then have to be fearful, like, oh, I wonder what people gonna think. That should not exist.
Right.
Because I'm not talking about you and your people. I'm talking about the pain that my people have suffered. And if you are saying that we are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, there is a certain group of people who continually, even it irritates me so much because I'm a serial entrepreneur. I hate I do.
I like that.
I hate going after these grants and stuff. Oh, we got a minority on grants. You got to compete against your brothers and sisters. We're going to give 10 of y'all out of the 15,000 of y'all that applied the money. And it's like, that's cute, but no, it's not. If things were equal, I would be able to go into the bank and write down my real name, Shakina, or apply online. Look at my name is Shakina Watkins. I'm Black, y'all, and I'm Black, y'all. And then when you see me, I'm Black, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I'm already being punished for my name. They'll say, oh, when you name your kids, make sure you name them something that, but they won't be discriminated against. And I'm so glad my mom had me when she was 14 years old. I'm so grateful that she named me Shakina. At first I used to be like, oh. But I wish she would have put a little bit more syllables in it.
Yeah. Right.
Because where my people come from, we had a lot of syllables.
Yeah.
And we're so, and I get it because we've been discriminated against so much. We have not had the benefit of the same respect, or when it comes to them saying, oh, okay, I'm going to help y'all, but you got to compete for it. We're going to throw out a bone and see y'all fight over it and see who get it first.
Right, see who get it first.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it causes division amongst us as a people as well, because we're constantly have to compete for something that's free for everyone else.
And it should be.
Yeah, they give the immigrants, people who come over here, they get grants, they get everything.
Yeah,
right away.
And that's one of the things that I will always talk about with my son too, is that when I want him to look at the bigger picture, is that everything we work for, we worked hard for, and sometimes a little bit harder.
Yes.
And you will hear it. I told me you'll hear it repeated in school many a times. We are equal, we're equal, but some we are not.
We're not.
The benefit is not there for us at all the time. I want him to be in a world where if he decides, and I grant it, I worked, and I'm quite sure you do the same. We worked all our lives based on our circumstances to be where we are right now, right? I'm not in love with, I would say, meaning to the point to where it makes me who I am. I'm not too much in love with the material things that I have. That I purchase them, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they don't mean more to me than my son and my wife or my friends, correct?
Right.
So, but I worked hard to be in that space. I worked hard so I could put my son in a school district that I know that's going to educate him properly, right? Because to be honest, we've been in school districts. They'll let you pass because they don't want to deal with you no more.
Right.
I'm glad he's in a space that's going to hold him accountable.
Absolutely.
And I have worked hard to be in that particular space. And so to some, they still hate us for that. That we have made it that far. But it's supposed to be equal opportunity across the board. You say that, but when you see me doing that and you see me thrive, like you said, the Black Wall Streets and Central Park and so forth, you see that happen and then you want to destroy it.
You want to destroy it.
And going back real quick, 2 years.
Sure.
Feels like not too long ago. I want to say about 2 years. Maybe it was last year, whatever, right? Remember when Charlottesville happened? When they were marching in Charlottesville about the statue, right? At that particular time, the big story was, here you are trying to tear down our statues, which we know were built to intimidate us.
Right.
But you're complaining about the statues, and your way of saying it is that you are angry with me or angry with us because you are saying that we are trying to erase
your history.
Your history. That's only 2 years ago, maybe a year or two ago, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward to today. There are states fighting right now to not even teach Black history.
Which is crazy to me.
And why is that?
And they don't even teach all of Black history. They teach the same thing over and over. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks.
And they leave it at that.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And maybe you do a little bit during Black History Month.
And depending on how you do it, because it's sugarcoated. It's crazy to me. You want yours to stay in place. You fought me to keep yours in place by a statue. Of course, a statue is not history. It's just a monument. It doesn't change what's written in the book.
Absolutely.
Right? It does not change that at all. And so here it is, our stories, who is just as important. Because if we want to be real, we built this joint, or our ancestors did, for free.
Yeah.
Okay?
No pay.
None at all, And now that we are working hard to receive those things, our resilience is kicking in. Now you want to take away our history. Why wouldn't you want to see? And if it's funny because we're conditioned, and I'm conditioning my son to be, learn about others. Learn to where they come from.
Yeah.
But you're telling yours you don't want them to learn about me.
Right.
Or my son. He's gonna contribute too. We've all have contributed to this world in some form or fashion. And we should be able to do so. So why would you want to take that away from us?
Right.
When you just got through crying about it 2 years ago, about us doing it to you, which we weren't. But that's what you claim.
Right.
That was being done to you. And now here's I guess, shoe, if you will, is on the other foot. And now it's okay.
Right.
Benefits.
Friends with benefits.
You have the benefit to speak out about that. You have, again, the biggest benefit that they have is that there's more of us in places of power. I'm sorry, it's more of them in places of power that we are not. So they get to write the laws.
Absolutely.
They keep to have these conversations.
Absolutely.
Even last night we talked about the acquittal. Well, it was the law. You're right. But who wrote it? It wasn't one of us.
Right.
They wrote the law, so therefore they get to skirt that in any way, shape, or form they want to.
It's true.
But at the same time, that same law that was written, again, we have to say and be honest about it, if it was another shade of color, they'd have found a way to make that law stick. Yeah. And we'd be in jail right now.
Right. Absolutely.
That's the benefit that they have.
It's awful.
And as we continue to grow, and I told my wife, right now we're 1 for 45. We're 1 for 45 when it comes to the presidents. We only have one. And I remember them hearing correctly from one of the gentlemen in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, saying, because we were talking about reparations, he verbally said, your reparations came in the form of Barack Obama. And he said, we gave you. He didn't say you earned it, you worked for it, you pushed for it, you voted for. He said, we gave you your reparations in Barack Obama. So because you have me, or you're saying you, meaning he's still in charge. We uplifted one of y'all. Now shut up.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're telling me.
Yeah.
And you're telling me it wasn't my work. It was yours.
Absolutely.
And I'm not, to me, I'm far beyond that thanking you for the hard work that we did. We were not in this zone of, thank you, Mr. Charlie.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Charlie. You so good to me. We're done with all that.
Yeah.
So why would you feel and think that you gave me something I worked hard for?
Yeah.
Yeah. History says that Abraham Lincoln freed us. And you put pen to paper.
Right.
I'll give him that.
Right.
But he didn't free anything. Had we, as Mitch McConnell would say, and verbally, shut up, had our ancestors stayed quiet, had our ancestors not wanted better for us, would we be free?
No.
It was their hard work that pushed it forward, pushed the button to free ourselves.
Right.
And now we are here trying to find the best, live the best way we can, live our lives, make the money, give the best life to our kids too. The same thing y'all are doing. But now you won't even give us that benefit of even trying.
Right.
We get ridiculed for trying.
Right.
We get ridiculed
you're not
for being a certain way.
happy.
Yeah.
You're not, you have this, you have that, shut up.
Yeah. We gave you this.
Right.
Yeah.
You got this representation on TV. You got this and that. And it's like, but is it really though? And so it's going to be an uphill battle that everybody, I guess to the world end or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll just have to keep fighting it. And my hope is that, and I don't even know if this is a fair hope though, is that even if you don't agree with all of it, that you try to listen without bias or prejudice or without taking it personal.
Right.
Because if the shoe were on the other foot, you want your kids to have the best upbringing. You want to be able to provide for your kids. You want to be able to be paid an honest day's work for the work that you do. So when we speak about it, if it's your kids being shot down in the street, then you would want something done to don't make it a race thing as far, it's black and white. If you treated everyone fairly, it would be okay. Even with the way that Donald Trump was able to just remove those Hispanic people from their family. Now they're going to get paid for it. It's still not enough to me for something like that to happen. We ain't never got paid. But still, it happened to them. And that is not okay. Even if they were here illegally, you don't take a group of people and throw them into a holding place and they didn't have proper food, water, supervision, children there without their parents. It was just like, we are not human.
It's inhumane. It is.
And then to me, for someone to find fault for a person being upset about that is hatred.
It is.
It's hatred. Because if it was happening, just like I've been watching the TV series on Hulu called Dope Sick. It's really good. It's about the opioid crisis with Oxycontin. And of course, they got the largest settlement that ever existed in history with something like that. But I only believe it's because it mostly happened to white people. It was affecting, it didn't care about your race, your age, your classism, your money. Rich doctors, lawyers, everybody was getting hooked onto this stuff.
Yeah.
But because it affected a lot of prominent white people, something was done about it. With the crack epidemic, which was given to us.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, well, you're going to get arrested. We're going to run in these houses. We're going to do this and that instead of helping.
And all you did was give me the responsibility of what? To just say no?
Right. That's the Dare song, which I know by heart.
Right. That's all we got.
It's very sad. Yeah. What we're saying is, and I love the topic that you did, is just give us the same benefit.
That's all.
Don't make this about you and make it like we're racist because we're asking for our people to have the same benefit.
Right.
The same way you love your husband, your wife, your daughter, your child, we do too.
Yeah.
And even if you don't like us, just based off the fact that we are human, respect that.
Respect it. That's what it's all about. That is what it's all about. Hey, Spider, I know we're running on time. We're not even going to trip on any other music. Matter of fact, Spider, if you can tell me how much time do we got left within this episode? I'm looking at my clock. It looks like we got about 15 minutes or so.
We're at 53 right now.
What's that?
We're at 53 minutes
Okay.
total.
All right, thanks, my man. So we got about 7 minutes left. So, thanks for that, my man, Spider. That's the man in the background, y'all, making us look good and sound good.
Right.
So we'll kind of just wrap this thing up, but I just want to go over this again so everybody can have a better understanding of where we're going with this Friends with Benefits, and that is the fact that you look at yesterday with Kyle Rittenhouse. He was given the benefit. The two people he killed was not. Think about that. Ahmaud Arbery, the three men who killed him, they were given the benefit. He was not, and he's no longer with us. They assumed it's because he was in their neighborhood, which I have a right to be wherever I want to be,
Right.
jogging. He didn't get the benefit, and he's lost his life behind it. Tamir Rice had a toy gun. He did not get the benefit. He lost his life. Trayvon Martin didn't get the benefit. He lost his life. Sandra Bland did not get the benefit.
Mm-hmm.
She lost her life. Eric Gardner did not get the benefit. He lost his life. I keep saying these names, y'all, because that's the problem, is to come to the fact that how come we cannot get the benefit? And the biggest benefit that I want to share with you, like Cece has shared, my humanity. Why do I not get the benefit of being human just like you? Because I got a hoodie on?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't created a hoodie.
Right.
Y'all created the clothing of a hoodie. Why do you get the benefit of its look? I don't. Because if I wear one, I'm a thuggish or a thug. I don't get the benefit of being called a man. If because of the style of clothes I wear. I don't get the benefit of being called a man because of the way I wear my hair, locks, dreads, whatever. I don't get the benefit. There's people right now that won't hire you. You can have the best education. You can earn your way to the top, have the best education, but they won't hire you unless you fix your hair. Your hair is not allowed to touch your shoulders, but theirs is. There's a difference.
It is.
And why you don't get the benefit of being human behind it. We can look at so many cases where this has come to pass. And I'm just telling you right now, the way I feel about it is, again, it goes back to the resilience. We are resilient to everything that we have been through, everything our ancestors have been through. We've remained resilient. And I'll encourage y'all still to this day, remain resilient. Yes, you're angry. We're upset. It's a lot. But never fall for the okie doke, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to be as angry as they are for watching you be resilient. Resilient. And the most resilient, I've said it before, and dang it, I'll say it again, and not because CC is sitting in front of me. The most resilient human being on this earth is a black woman. And I praise y'all for it. Y'all have birthed many of nations. Many of nations. And I will tell y'all, real quick thought, benefit-wise, I'm just saying it. Got to get this off my chest. When you hear people tell a woman, or they want to take away a woman's rights to do what she wants to do with her body, listen loud and clear. It ain't because of us. No, I'm sorry. It's not because of them. They're not looking wholeheartedly at everybody. They're looking at you. They're looking at the black woman. Because if it had it their way, we wouldn't continue to be here.
Right.
However, they want their women to stop doing it, stop aborting kids so that they can continue to grow. See, the census has changed if you're paying attention. The number of blacks to whites is starting to grow. Their fear is that the policy is going to change. The benefit is going to shift to us and not them. Luckily for them, I would say, I know I am, I'm not here to get revenge. The way I've always spoken, as a whole, black folks have never said it's about revenge.
No.
It's about respect.
Yes.
Just treat me the same.
Yeah.
And then we'll be good. Everything will be just fine.
Right.
We're going to have our disagreements.
Absolutely.
We're going to disagree on a whole lot of stuff,
Right.
policies or what have you. But see me as such. See me as human.
Yeah.
And it should never be about my skin tone to make you believe that I'm not who you think I am.
Right.
I'm just like you. Just like you underneath.
Absolutely.
So give us that benefit is what I ask. And I'll always say, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, if you have, we do have, all of us have those friends with benefits. Some on the left, your main ones on the right. Your ones on the left, you know they got the benefit. And I hope that the ones on the left see that us don't have the benefit. And if they see that and they recognize it, meaning they want to be there for you and they recognize that you don't have the benefit and they're not doing anything to assist you with getting those benefits, maybe they're not your friends. I've been on search for a while. I've been stationed with many people that I used to call brotherhood in the military. Oh, but now that ideas have changed, they don't speak to me and I don't speak to them. And I've tell people all the time, I ain't lose a friend because one I just never had. I never did. If that was the case, if the oppression of my folks causes us not to be friends, then we were never friends in the first place, or we were just friends as long as I stayed in line with what you wanted me to do.
Right.
So that's our topic for today, family. It is friends with benefits. I hope that you enjoyed that. Please make sure you can go to my social media page at the Redboi Radio Show on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube. Leave a comment. Let me know your comments, and I don't care if they're ugly or good. It don't matter to me. You don't move me left or right. I'm just being honest and telling my truth, and we should be able to tell our truth. And let's be honest about what's going on in this world and not trying to sugarcoat it like it was given to us as kids. It was sugarcoated for us as learning. You know what I mean? And I'm not here, I will no longer be here to caress anybody's conscience.
Right.
Let's say it. Let's tell it like my mom used to say. Let's tell it like a T.I. is. Okay. Let's tell it like it is. So I hope y'all enjoyed that, and definitely hope things for us get better. But before I get out here, though, of course, fam, I do have my guest, Cece the Great. In the previous episode, we talked about her wonderful book, Girl, Hold Your Own Damn Purse. It was a wonderful show. If you hadn't had the opportunity to listen to it, because I know y'all. I know y'all want to listen to some negativity before you listen to positivity. I get it. So if you listen to this one, make sure you go back and listen to episode 5 as well. But Cece, once again, before we get out of here, please let everyone know where they can follow you and where to purchase this wonderful piece of magic.
Okay, so my book is available on Amazon.com, or you can go on the Amazon app to purchase the paperback, Girl, Hold Your Own Damn Purse. You can follow me on Instagram at cc_thegreat. And my website is ccthegreat.com.
There it is. There it is, fam. Y'all make sure y'all do that. Support one another like you support them folks that you don't even know.
Right.
They making millions of dollars. It's by likes. For you pushing a heart, they get making millions of dollars. You need to do the same. So before we got to, fam, I promised Cece I was going to say this, and I want to say this to you real quick, Cece. Let me give you a piece of some flowers because you gave some to me. I'm a big person on small things. That are big. There's small things that become big things for me. And I remember the last time you were on my show and we were sitting across from each other, and you said something, and I don't even know if you knew how much it affected me. But you sat there on my show and you looked at me. You say, "Dang, Redboi, you really got it going on." In a sense, for my radio, she said, "You know exactly what to play, how to play it." She said, and she sat there and said, "You know what? I really hope and pray that your show thrives." And so I'm going to tell you now, thank you. You probably don't even remember you said it.
I don't.
But you said it. But that's who
and
you
I
are.
Meant it.
That's your energy that you gave me. And I went home to my wife and I bragged about it. And it's small pieces of folks just like you that say small things to that. And I can say the same to you. It's just that's going to help us with each other, grow each other, and build up each other. We ain't got to tear each other down. Hey, and because I'm a friend of yours, if you got it, guess what? I got it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you make it on the TV and I see you, I got it. Hell, I'm gonna tell everybody. Have my cousin. Okay. You know how we do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So thank you for real. Thank you so much for just leaving that with me that day, because I wasn't expecting. When it came to me, that's what motivates me to keep going. Because you see it, and even at times when I might not see it for myself, you saw it that day.
Yeah, and look at you now. I
appreciate it.
Okay,
I appreciate it. I appreciate it
My
so
pleasure.
much. So thank y'all too for listening. Keep supporting, not me or not just me. Let's keep supporting each other. Thank y'all for joining us today. I want to leave you with this, fam. Throughout this life, you have two options. You can live with faith, or you can live with doubt. It is absolutely your choice. But family, what you should never, ever do is doubt your faith. Love y'all. Peace.